I appreciate it.
Here's my mini pool.
It's cute.
There it is. I've done it. Okay, we're live and audible.
Woo!
The
Are
fucking
we?
was because I kept pushing the wrong button for my audio, but we're good. We're on.
Are you recording on OBS?
Yes, I'm recording on OBS.
Well done. All right. Then this is my time to say, shut up, dogs outside. And the other thing is, well, hello there. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I didn't change my background. I'm still.
I was wondering about
Shit!
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
we're
doing
still
so
in
many
Sweet
other
Home.
things. Let me.
It's fine.
You do stuff whilst I look for a
Okay,
background.
Brian, do you want to introduce our podcast because
Oh, yeah,
Katie's
take my
doing
bit.
stuff?
Hi, my name's Brian Peter. Wow, I'm so tired.
You can't remember it.
No, we're all the things we've
to,
watched.
to all the films we judged before.
Let me just
Yeah,
do this real
that's
quick and then I'll
what
look
I
for
said.
background. Hi everyone, welcome to all the films we judged before. I'm Katie, that's Lily, and we have Brian with us today.
Hey, what's up?
Bam, done. And now I'm going to keep
I don't know
looking
where
for
you're
background.
at, so I'm just like pointing
Where
and different.
it's like the Brady Bunch. It's like somewhere. Yeah.
It's hot.
Okay.
We're all tired.
Yeah.
It's going
I'm not
great.
tired. I'm very happy.
That's
Well,
those
Lily's
two
happy.
things are not the opposites of each other.
Can I give a context? Really quick story.
Yes.
Very fast, literally 2 minutes. I found my weeks going. I went to the gas station last night, and there's a guy who's like around our age, like was wearing half like sports like track pants,
Okay.
and then like, almost like a business shirt. And he was just staring off. It was like 10 p.m. Staring off like in the distance. It was just the two of us. He looks at me, kind of smiles, goes into his car, and he starts blasting, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." And I've been
Fuck
thinking
yeah.
about that a lot since then. That kind of sums up the week.
Honestly, that's such good energy. I love that.
That's good.
Very strange, but yeah, no, I
He's preparing for Christmas.
very early, but I guess you can never prepare
Exactly.
enough, I suppose. So
Exactly. There you go. Like, Christmas is Christmas, and you have to start preparing for
Great.
it
That's
in
going to be in my
time.
head for the rest of the episode.
I'm so sorry. It was
that's fine,
specifically Frank Sinatra's one, so just imagine that.
I mean,
Oh,
it's lovely,
fuck
but
yeah.
it's also like this. It's. I mean, to be fair, I haven't walked into the living room to find my mother watching any Christmas movies yet. But I wonder if that's more because she's watched all the Christmas movies that are available on Netflix.
Wait, I can take it out of your head with the sun will come out.
Oh no! Don't do this to me again.
Fetch your bottom dollar.
Father, that
And
tomorrow.
tomorrow there'll
be
be sun.
I've gotten really into Noah Khan in the past couple of weeks.
Oh,
so that I've
really love Noah Khan.
properly listening to his album. I'm like, this is a good album, you know.
Orange Juice breaks my heart, but I think New Perspectives is such a good song. I mean, his
just-
whole album.
I just
fantastic.
love Stick Season. It keeps getting in my head. It's good, great, good album.
There you go.
Where is this photo? I've just saved it. I should have
don't know,
named it
Katie.
something
We don't
a
know
bit
what you
easier
did.
to find. P.
Out of curiosity, can you guys hear the fan going off in the other room? Or is
Nah.
this
No, I can hear the
isolating?
fans going off in my room.
Fantastic! I can't hear it at all. So
Yeah.
lovely.
Oh,
No
and you
noises
may hear
here.
thunder.
Yes,
'Cause
just outside the window.
thunderstorms. Right.
Thunderstorms.
Now I've
Alright.
made a better background. More
Very-
appropriate
very
for the.
well done.
The record now. I'm going to be thinking about that now. New Perspectives.
There you
Downtown.
Well, let's not go too far into it. 'Cause, I mean, trying not to get copy striked. Not that YouTube actually gives a shit about what we're doing,
No, they
but
don't
like,
care. They don't care.
Is that only
just in case.
in your... Yeah, I thought that was... Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Never mind. I was
I
gonna say,
don't
isn't that when you... Okay.
I don't.
It's when you
don't
play the
know.
original. It's
That's
when
what
you
I
play
thought.
the
Yeah,
original.
it's
okay.
covers.
It's Twitch that gets a bit more funny about it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Which is bleh. Anyway, do you have news for us, Katie? Or
I did
should
the
we
intro,
just-
didn't I?
Yeah.
Right. I've got some news which we've kind of talked a little bit about
Yes.
privately, but for the rest of everybody else. First, I'm going to make sure I don't have a burp stuck in my chest, but it doesn't come out whilst I'm
It's important.
trying
Well
to
done.
talk. Right. I'm going to rattle through these so that we can talk about the movie.
Yes.
I've got 4 things down. I swear I had other things that I was going to talk about, but I can't remember any of them. So I'm going
That's
with the 2 really big ones that I've seen, and one that I saw today that was just the only thing in my For You feed on Twitter for.
As it should be.
It's not that.
Oh,
Um,
Damn.
So starting
You're
Squid
so
Game
excited.
2.
I was.
Squid Game 2
Yeah,
out Boxing
yeah.
Day. And for the Americans in the audience, that's the 26th of December.
We know what Boxing Day is, even though we don't
Not,
celebrate.
not everybody does.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. We call it
You've
Boxing Day,
spent
but we
you've
do
spent a lot
nothing.
more time in the UK than most other
Funny,
Americans, to
but
be fair.
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Squid Game!
Squid Game,
Fuck yeah.
Boxing
I'm
Day,
so excited.
this year, final season, season 3, 2025. I'm getting the impression that they've kind of filmed back to back, in a
Probably, yeah.
sense, to get that. So we've got a very similar situation to the way the Sweet Home ended. So that's good. I like knowing that there's an ending to things,
Yeah.
as we've said before. I was already surprised that we were getting a second season, so this should be interesting. We'll see how it goes. I'm obviously very excited. This will be one. I'll see if I can sit down with my mother and watch it on Boxing Day. I think.
I'm gonna be there on Boxing Day. I'm gonna be like, everyone, fuck off. Squid Game is on. Done.
I mean, I did that with wow, it's really going on out there. I did that with Blood Origin, like Witcher Blood Origin, because that came out on Christmas Day, and I was
Oh.
like, everybody leave me alone. I need to see Askia for a bit.
There you
He's
go.
only in it like this much, but I'm like, important.
But you gotta watch it.
It's important. I have to
It's
see my
important.
boy.
There you go.
But yes, that's all very exciting. Next up, probably the biggest piece of news that's come out of a Comic-Con this past weekend is that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU as a villain, specifically Doctor Doom. We're on a sort of a sliding scale of excited about this, as far as I can tell. Going from Lily, who's very excited, me, who's slap bang in the middle. I don't think you're that far off into the not excited at all realm, are you, Brian? But like I think you're a bit more wary than I am.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. It does feel more like to me like, the MCU is failing and they're trying to pull people back in. That does feel a bit like
It's for
yeah.
me, it is very much the most sort of transparent. Like, we're freaking out because all of our plans disappeared. So let's get back our really heavy hitters because they're safe.
They paid
Which
$100 million.
famously, I feel like the MCU and safe leads to boring. Feels like a too strong a word, but like generic.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
But it's
Mashed
Robert Downey Jr. So it's like it's going to be really fun to watch, no matter what.
It's just also mental. They paid him $100 million, which is I, just there. It seems like
That's a
they're
lot of
really,
money.
it's a lot of money, and they're really trying to. Yeah, it seems like a lot's riding on this.
They're
So
really they're like, we have to make this work, which is
right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which could go either way. I hope that it goes in a good direction rather than the bad one. I do think that no matter what, Robert Downey Jr. is going to give us a really fun performance. I also understand that the perspective of a lot of people who are really like upset about the fact that because Doctor Doom in the comics, from what I hear, he's Romany and it's quite important to his
Hmm.
backstory. So it's like, is this another case of the MCU properly whitewashing their you know, from comics to screen, their characters? I
AKA
hope.
the Mandarin from
I
from.
my I was thinking more Tilda Swinton and in
Oh, fair enough.
in
But
Doctor
yeah,
Strange,
right.
but
Oh, yeah,
my
true.
hope is that if they are doing this and it's Tony Stark Doctor Doom, as Ian said just now, hi Ian, that then they leave it open to like somebody entirely new coming in to play like full Victor Von Doom, which would be very exciting, and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I just put that out there. That those are my thoughts. Lily's just very
Lily's like,
excited.
nah, you guys are wrong. This is great.
Like, I can't believe where I'm sitting right now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is
How do you
so exciting.
really feel?
This is like, I love RDG, obviously. And I think it's such a good decision to have him as Doctor Doom. Because if anyone can do it, you gotta have RDG there,
What
and
about
I
like an
think
unknown actor who's never acted in something who's great too? Why bring back like the most? Sorry, this is my own like thing. It's like just
I feel like there's
telling.
space to do both from like a marketing perspective, and then also just like because the MCU has been famously quite a huge place for like bringing in newer filmmakers, and
Yeah.
a lot of the actors who came into the MCU in the early days were quite unknown, and they catapulted them into stardom. So like, I feel like they could do this to introduce like a full like version of with a new actor that we haven't really seen a whole lot of before. Um,
Mm.
I just feel like there's room for both. So I'm cautious, but I'm interested.
I feel like Lily's giving us the
Livid.
Paddington. No, yeah, that's where I was going. Lily's giving us the Paddington hard stare right now. Uh, so yeah.
I'm gonna look up this
Oh gosh, no,
that I've just.
no,
She's
no,
taking the glasses off now.
it's too much. It's like Cyclops.
I swear to God.
So
Swear to
Concussion.
God.
moving
Where am I?
on.
I should just leave.
No.
Anyway.
No.
Um, moving on to my next piece of news.
Yeah.
John M. Cho, famous for directing such musicals as In the Heights and more, coming up, Wicked, will be directing a Britney Spears biopic. And I bring this up because it was like the only thing. Yeah, this was the only thing that was on my for you feed on Twitter. It was like, this is happening, and I went, okay, well that's interesting. It seems to be to her memoir. I'm hoping that she'll be involved because I feel like a lot of people have done enough to, you know, take her story away from her.
Yeah.
And this feels like an opportunity to her to be able to, speak and like, share the shit that she's been through. So I
I
feel
hope
like, and plus John M. Cho is a great director, so I think it could be something very interesting.
that seems positive and potentially hopeful. Yeah, I know the different director, different circumstance, but the oh wow, see, this is when the tiredness is hitting me again. Who did oh wow. No. Oh no. Oh no. Uh
This
back
is
in
great.
This is me
no,
every
it's not.
episode.
Valerie, Valerie.
Yeah.
What the hell is
Oh,
it?
the Back to Black one.
Oh wow.
Is that what it is?
Wow.
Amy
Amy
Winehouse is
Winehouse.
Thank you. Gosh, thank you so much. Wow, that was a complete block. Yeah, this is gonna be like I'm just gonna talk less today, probably.
Smile More.
But the yeah, the yeah, smile more. Yeah.
Yeah.
The biopic that they did on her that came out recently, I heard was just panned because it was very disrespectful,
It looked
It
like
was,
I
yeah.
heard it was awful.
really
Yeah.
sad. It's not necessary. So hopefully this won't be in line with that. It seems much more like there's more potential. So
Yeah. That's my hope. I remembered the other thing I wanted to write down a
Oh,
couple of times, so I'm going to say that now. Something else that came out of Comic Con, which is exciting me personally, and I
yes.
want to share about it, is that they released a teaser for season 3 of Interview with the Vampire, which is going to be fully the Vampire Lestat. And they came out with a song, and they did a full 4-minute teaser. They haven't even written the season yet, but they sat down and they made this little like teaser of like new material just for Comic Con, and it looks insane. The music sounds amazing already, and I'm just very excited about it. And in related news, if you're interested in Interview with the Vampire and you live in the UK and you have a TV license, the second season came out on iPlayer today, and you should watch it because it's really fucking good television.
There you go.
So there's that. Last piece of news, because we'll probably talk about it in a couple of weeks in this news segment, is that Netflix Geek Week is back on this week at the 16th of September. Looking like there's going to be a lot of Sandman stuff in it, so that will be fun. And hopefully some footage, because I want to see my guys. So yeah, that's all I have written down from the news, unless anybody else has anything they want to talk about. No?
Nope.
Cool.
No. Cold. All right. Should we just get into it?
oh yes.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so we're gonna talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Obviously, first we're gonna do a non-spoiler round where we just overall thoughts and whatnot, and then we're gonna get into spoilers, which is like at this point, since it's all over the internet, I think you've already seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But still, we're gonna warn you when we get it when we get there. All right, so let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine without any spoilers first, just like overall thoughts. And let's start with Brian. What did you think of the movie?
Really liked it. I really liked it. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I was okay with the first Deadpool. I thought it was a really cool premise that they were able to translate a difficult character that works really
Hmm.
well in comic book to screen. We can't hear it at all, Katie.
It's
Is
No,
it
it's
is
not at
mad.
all.
It's really loud.
okay, scary. Don't get electrocuted.
I'm just
Yeah.
worried. The last time we did a Zoom
Yeah.
thing in here was with Jeffrey. Well, I had a thunderstorm going on, and it fully knocked out the power. So
If we
Well,
suddenly
hoping if
disappear,
we
it's
suddenly stop streaming, it's because the power went out. Because
yeah,
or a solar flare hit the Earth
oh
and
yeah.
there's no
I mean,
anymore. It
there
could
is
be
always
just
that possibility.
very
There we
true.
go.
Um, I like Deadpool 2 more. I
Same.
think leaned into when I leaned in more to the emotional parts, the earnest parts,
Hmm.
I with that. And I thought this movie had a lot of heart. I was really not surprised, but really impressed by that.
Hmm.
I thought all the cameos, which we'll talk about in the spoilers, were really tastefully done.
Mm.
They were justified. It didn't feel like I think I can spoil Doctor Strange multiverse. What's it
Mm.
called Mad? Yeah. Is that okay
The
to
ring.
talk about?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that whole thing, all the cameos with in that movie, Doctor Strange 2 with Patrick Stewart and who else showed up in that? Gosh, I mean, they all just were used and then abused and then they were
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And it just felt like fan service.
Yeah.
Whereas this felt like it was very contextual to
Hmm.
the point of the story. I thought there was a lot of really lovely character development and the jokes landed a lot more for me than the last couple ones. I was consistently laughing more, and now I've seen it twice, and pretty much it seems to be the consensus
Hmm.
for both theaters I've been in. So I really liked it. Yeah. How about you
Yeah.
guys?
Good. Katie.
Where'd you go? Yeah, I also really liked it. It's kind of hard to talk about in a way of it's like I don't feel like as effusive as I think a lot of people are, but I did enjoy myself as I was watching it, you know. And you know, yeah, there's some good jokes in there. I did find myself interestingly for me finding the whole like the fact that he was talking so much in the movie started to
Mm.
grate on me in places.
Mm. Hmm.
But like I'm also aware that that is very much part of the character, and I think it finally hit almost in like the way it should. Strangely, there are times where I'm like, stop talking, just for like a couple of minutes, please stop talking. But I think you're absolutely right on the cameo front because I came out of it being like, yeah, that was fun, and I liked all the cameos, but I don't know, I was judging it as an MCU film more than I was like a Deadpool, you know,
Oh,
just
gotcha.
on its own. And I was like, yeah, that felt like kind of what it would feel like for Deadpool to be in the MCU, and I kind of went. I didn't really have any further thoughts on it. For anybody listening and not watching the video, I nodded a little bit, like not Robert De Niro.
For emphasis, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. But I've come around a lot more on it and feel a lot more fondly towards what they were trying to do when I
Mm.
realized that like a lot of what they were going for was like this is a love letter to 20th Century Fox era of superhero movies, and that made me feel a lot more. Yeah, it endeared me to the entire thing way more. I probably should have seen it again after having that realization. Maybe I would have like had more of a different reaction to it from that point forward. But just off of like a pure, you know, watch. Yeah, I liked it. I had a good time. It was very silly,
Yes. Yeah, it was.
supremely silly. Lily,
That's good. That's good. I fucking loved it. I
I know
watched
you
it three
do.
times, and I didn't have any regrets the third time either. The third time I finally watched it in English, which is just supreme, with the jokes and everything, and with my favorite thing, favorite scene from the entire movie is just even more beautiful in English. I cried again. I always cry. This movie made me cry four times. I counted it now because I didn't count it properly the first two times. It was four times where I cried. So like, it's
I'm
a
gonna have
winner.
to
I
I'm gonna have
love
to ask you
how
about that.
consistent you are about it. Like it's the same 4 times.
It's the same four times.
When we
It's the
get into
same four
spoilers,
times.
I want to know the each time and what provocated that. I'm very curious.
Yeah, I will share in the
Yeah.
spoiler section. I really loved it. I love Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together. Like, they just the best. And I am so glad that Hugh Jackman decided to come back because honestly, otherwise this would be just like, still something, but it would be like me. Yeah, that's without spoilers. That's all I can say. That I fucking loved it.
Cool.
That's
Great.
it.
So if you're interested in watching Deadpool and Wolverine, it's there and it's a fun time. So if you want to laugh, definitely go for it. And also, if you're a really big fan of any of the superhero movies of the early 2000s, really this is the one you should see.
Or if you're a 90s baby like me. Because this was a love letter for us as well. I grew up with them, so like, you know, I was like, excuse me, what's this? Beautiful. I cried.
Sure, I'm just thinking that all of them, the first X-Men movie came out in
2000.
2000.
No, I thought that too. I thought that
Yeah,
too.
but the other cameos came out earlier. When I was like 8 and 7.
Okay, we're going to go into spoilers now because I need answers on this. So if you haven't seen it, spoilers alert.
Spoilers!
Who
Yeah.
are you specifically talking about? Because
Blade.
yeah.
But because Electra came out in...
Electra came out. Deadpool. No, not Deadpool. Sorry, Daredevil. I think came out in
Daredevil.
like 2002 or 2003.
Yeah.
So Electra
that's
was
right.
like 2004, like that.
5.
5? Yeah, it was
2005.
Okay. All right,
The
yeah.
rain has started.
Oh, here it comes. And so it begins.
And so it's me.
So it begins.
Oh my god, the tornado!
Oh my god. Oh no.
I haven't actually stopped thinking about
Have
Twisters
yourself-
since I went and saw it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
There you go.
go.
Yeah.
I'm curious, so I guess just to start off, what were the 4 times that you cried? What were
Oh
the
yeah.
4 times?
So to start with, what were the 4
Okay.
times that you cried?
It's very consistent. So it's like
Yeah.
you know, the first time was the moment in the car
when they had gay sex.
when Logan basically just roasts Deadpool until he's on fire. Like, if I cried on that all 3 times I watched it, I can't imagine, you know, Wade Wilson sitting there and just be like. And I love that tiny moment because also Logan doesn't give a lot of time for him to think, and it's like, what, you're not gonna say anything, and but you can see that he's already like just going down, and he really can't say anything because it's so hurtful, all those things that he said, and Hugh Jackman delivered that line and that whole monologue so brilliantly that it just gets to me every single time. I'm like, oh my god, this is very hurtful. Like, if it hurts me, then it's done right. It's done beautifully. So that's the first time I cried, and then I cried when Logan talks to Laura in the woods. And it's the first time, you know, because Hugh Jackman is great.
Yeah. He's the one
and-
giving the dramatic performance. At
Yeah.
this movie.
Oh, 100%. The third time was when Cassandra Noah got into Logan's head, and they were among the graves. That was also beautifully done. And the last time is the like a prayer moment at the very end as they are holding on to the.
Sorry, did you hear that one? Because that was
No.
Oh my
No.
god, that was like somebody took a shot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was like really intense. Sorry,
Sure.
even if you can't hear them, I'm gonna keep reacting to them because it's real loud out there.
So yeah, that's the 4 times.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was wondering, those were pretty much what I thought they would be. The one that surprised me, I think, was the, I forgot about the campfire scene for some reason.
That's
But
so
yeah.
beautiful as well.
Yeah, it was nice to, I wanted more of the 2 of them together, just because it's
Oh
like
yeah.
an iconic thing. I know it's a different variant of Logan. I know it's not the same
But
character.
I don't think it matters because they did such a beautiful job with how they
Yeah.
brought Hugh Jackman back in that I don't care because it's very good.
For sure. Yeah, no, I just mean like the history isn't there between those 2 specific characters, I guess, because it's different version of Logan. So I
Yeah.
guess like but I wish there had been some sort. I mean, I guess that you have that moment where like at the very end of the movie, again, we're in spoilers, where Logan is talking to Laura at the dinner table, and you know, you can kind of see like, oh, like maybe there's like a father-daughter thing again coming through. But I think there you don't hear any of the dialogue. It's like I would have loved
No,
like
no.
another moment where it's like, oh, like you were right, or like some sort of like cheesy thing, because like Logan is one of my favorite movies of all time. And when you bring that character back with that other character, Laura and Logan, there's so much. It's loaded. I feel like, at least for myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the only thing that I wish had been a little bit more like, oh, just like some sort of like cherry there. But you
I
can't.
think it would have been too early for that. Like I think if Hugh Jackman is coming back and Daphne Keane is coming back, they can do more with this, because I think they laid the groundwork for it. Like, it's obviously not the same Logan as Laura Lost, but it's still a Logan variant, and I think if they lean into it more, this can be very good at the end of it. But I think it would have been a bit early for this movie specifically.
Hopefully they do. I mean, hopefully for us, I guess selfishly. But if Hugh, I hope Hugh's not done, but Hugh might be done.
I
I mean, he
So
did
I
say
don't think so.
probably not.
Probably
no,
not.
that's true. A good point. Okay, yeah.
Probably
So
not.
yeah,
I mean,
then
he
that's,
didn't
Let's see
work for
again.
those abs this much to just leave
know,
them behind, okay?
what
Hey, doesn't mean
what if-
he doesn't have to stop having the abs.
I mean, if he gets a role that he needs, like, I don't know, a fat tummy or something, then yeah, he has to leave the abs behind.
Yeah,
You know,
but,
that's the actor's
and at a
life.
certain point, he'll be able to get
Right.
them back. He knows how to do it at this point.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's like also, what, 50,
55.
55.
55,
like,
there you go.
Yeah, but like it's very hard to completely lose that kind of muscle. In that, like, even if you did go on a different diet and had to, like, gain a bit of weight and all that sort of stuff, the ability to then get back to where he was is a lot easier than it would be if that was like the first time you did it. But he's been that fit for a long time now.
25 years.
He lost a lot of it, though. So he
Yeah,
had to
and he got it
rebuild
back.
himself. Yeah, but it took time. Like, it's not that easy to get abs.
There is a type of, yeah, and you're right, like what you're saying, Katie. It's like because of I was briefly a personal trainer for a minute. That there is a muscle memory when you train it, like the muscles kind of know like the growth patterns. And he's been doing it for like 25, literally 20 years playing the same character.
25.
Yeah.
25, that's mental. So yeah, so it does help though. As you age, it becomes more difficult to
Yeah.
sustain that hormone and that growth factor. So yeah, yeah.
You both
Yeah.
look nice.
Sorry?
No, it was just that you were basically saying that we were both right in different ways, but I was thinking about the SNL sketch where it's like Canadians, but they're judging like award
Oh,
show
yeah, yeah.
outfits, and then they go, they both look nice.
But you're both right. I mean, it's true. You both like had like two pieces of the pie, and just I was the one who like put I don't know, the crust. There's nothing I couldn't find.
That's fine.
Anyways,
This metaphor fell apart very quickly.
Deadpool and Wolverine. What a movie.
What
Someone
a
else.
movie.
It is a movie. It's very movie.
It's a movie.
It's
The-
very movie.
I I was gonna say I really enjoyed the earnest moments. I really liked that there were moments where Deadpool just dropped his jokey with a mouth stuff, where you had remnants of that or hints of that in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
It was a lot more consistent. You're like, oh, this is a person now. Like it's not just a comic book character and just kind of like a not one dimensional, but more two dimensional. Like there's multiple dimensions of this person, and that was really cool to see. And yeah, I've always kind of felt like Deadpool movies are fun and they're kind of silly, and then you forget about them. And it's like, oh, that was enjoyable. But I thought about the ending for a while, and I felt like there was a central theme which I really enjoyed, and a message, and I thought that was really lovely. Even though it's in a film where they desecrate the body of Logan and use it to kill people.
Yeah,
That
that rolls.
that opening
That's a really
is
good
one of
opening.
the best ones that I've seen in a while. I had so much fun with it. When I realized what he's gonna do, I was like, "Fuck yeah,
I'm
yes, please."
not gonna lie. My favorite joke in the movie is from that opening bit where he's talking about when he's when he's like, there are 206 bones in the human body, 207 when I'm watching
When you
Gossip
watch
Girl.
Gossip
And I'm like,
Girl, yeah.
that's just a good joke. It's a
It's
really
brilliant.
good joke.
I
That's
enjoyed
brilliant.
that too.
Yeah,
and
it made me chuckle.
I
It's
really
good.
enjoyed where it's like, how are we going to do this without disrespecting the memory of like Logan and like the legacy? It's like, we're not.
We're
And
not.
I think the best way, because of course they're going to get that, without a doubt, people are going to be like, well, you're going back in old material, bringing Hugh Jackman back. They were aware of that. And so I think just by leaning into it, I don't know if you guys
So good.
watch Red Letter Media. It's a reviewing.
I know of it, but I don't really watch them.
Yeah, like these guys who've been doing it for a long time, and they're quite movie critics, and they loved it. And they're like, I think they said like it was the only way to do it. It's weirdly tasteful by being so not tasteful. And I like,
It's very
Um,
Deadpool-like. Let's
it's
be fair.
well, yeah. This is
Yeah.
what I was going to say. I was going to say it's extremely self-aware,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was a little bit of a pun, but also just generally speaking, I think Ryan is a very smart writer in that way that he understands audience very well.
Oh yeah.
And what the audience wants from like this and these characters and all this sort of space. So I think that it was done in a very smart way, the way that they framed the whole thing and were able to like point the story at a certain perspective. Like it really does feel like this was kind of the only way to do it to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. I am curious about what you think the message at the end of the movie that you picked up was.
Um, yeah.
Because you said there was one,
No,
and now I want to
there
know what
definitely
you
was
think it
one.
is.
No, but after I yawned, my brain went into La La Land for a second, not the movie. And I just kind of drifted. I think it was about appreciating what you have.
Mm.
Because he's trying to be something bigger than himself, something
Mm-hmm.
more, entire film, as opposed to, and he sabotages his relationship with Vanessa,
Yeah,
Marina Baccarin character.
I think that
By,
just real quick, I think that's the only like real major thing I had that I wasn't a huge on in this film was the lack of Vanessa because I really like their relationship. I understand why
too.
they did it that way and what they were going for and all that sort of stuff, but I think that some of my favorite character moments that come from Wade as a person come from when he's interacting with Vanessa. And there wasn't a whole lot of that in this movie, which made me a little sad. But that's a whole other thing. Continue
I
as you were.
agree. Yeah. The second movie too, because she's dead for most of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about, appreciating, like he even says, like, my whole world is like within these nine people that I have. And I think that's the idea. It's like I don't need to be in like the MCU. I don't need to be an Avenger. It's like I can be enough is contained within the family that I have. Uh, which I feel like was a lovely, it was very like Sam Raimi kind of. Are you okay, Katie?
It genuinely sounds like there's like a tropical storm happening outside.
Wow. Okay.
We're
Well, it's
fine.
been
It,
warm
it
too.
is fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really, really humid today. So this is just we're breaking
Yeah.
the weather basically right now.
Not
It's just
breaking
nice that it's
free.
happened. Fuck, that was so mad. Yeah, so it's a little distracting, and I'm sorry about
I-
that. But there's not really a whole lot I can do because if I shut that window, I will boil. So
No, of course, of course. No, got to be safe and take care of your own needs. I was just gonna say, to sum it up, kind of rambling because I'm tired. It felt very Sam Raimi. It felt very like early MCU, just I guess Marvel films before the MCU. Of it doesn't have to be this grand scale, even though they do the whole grand scale, like the universe is going to end and all these multiverses, blah blah blah, blah, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I understood the context of it with the messaging of being like, actually, the universe can be nine people that you love, and you should appreciate that, and you can't take that. And that to them, you are like he kept saying, Marvel Jesus, like they love him, they appreciate him so much, he doesn't see that. And so I really, I appreciate that for such a big movie to kind of have a very contained, intimate
Yeah.
theme throughout.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree because what I really appreciated in it is that he didn't even realize that Vanessa loved him for who he was, and he didn't need to become more. And it was funny, and obviously you laugh when he's like, "I am Marvel Jesus," and he is, by the way. But
honestly,
but it's like you don't need that, dude. Like these people already love you for who you are, and I think specifically for this is why that car scene with Logan's monologue is so impactful because it contains it all. Like you don't need to be these things. You already have all you need. And he says this himself, and I love that by the end he realizes it, that yeah,
Yeah.
I have enough.
I was talking to my brother about this because he was expressing that he felt a little bit iffy about how like his whole with the way he saw it anyway. There's that like a lot of what Wade was doing was to win back this girl and doing all this stuff, and I was like, it's not really about her.
No,
It's very much about him and his perception of how he should be through somebody
Yeah.
else's eyes. Because she would have been fine with him no matter what he did. Like, he just had to decide what he wanted to be. It wasn't that he had to be an Avenger. She wasn't going to be disappointed if if he didn't like do something, because he was like, I think the big thing is like, oh, I have to grab onto something that's bigger than me, and it's like, it doesn't have to be that much. You just have to grab onto the people that are around you, and that is in its own way bigger than you. Like,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be, the entirety of the multiverse. It's not like you don't have to
Exactly.
go off and be Loki and become the tree of life,
Right.
holding all the timelines together. You just have to recognize that there are people around you who already care about you, and put your energy there as opposed to everywhere else, right?
Yeah.
Which is really, I like that a lot. If I may pivot a little bit,
Yeah, please, yeah.
I have been coming around to appreciating this movie, and I was joking about it before, but genuinely is quite queer, like just in its text. And I love the fact that they don't shy away from, because there's been like a talk of people being like, oh, it's getting really homophobic, and then the sort of right wing crowd are being like, it's anti woke, and I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're not understanding how like much Wade. I mean, there's an entire monologue where he starts explaining how he's going to peg 5 people. Like,
The TVA.
like that's not. Guys, like, this is an extremely queer movie. The fact that he was checking out Wolverine's abs in that moment where he's like, they're saving the universe together.
The Madonna song. Yeah,
In the
yeah.
Madonna song, like it's a very there was a very specific kind of queer lens on the whole thing, which I did appreciate, and thought there were a lot of really fun jokes that came from that space. And I was kind of joking, but like the fight in the car scene was essentially, in its own way, a sex scene. Because
Like
I mean,
angry
they
sex.
fell asleep afterwards. Come on. Like, and I'm not the only person who saw this. A lot of other people are agreeing with me. But I just appreciate the fact that that is a side of the character that's being very well honoured in a Deadpool way. Should we talk about the cameos? Because I feel like that. Shut up! Not right now. I'm trying to have a conversation. Crikey.
Do you want to introduce your guest, Thunder?
What's that?
Thunder and Rain, the storm, should be the new guest on the podcast. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was a joke that if I'd said it
No,
well,
it's more that I have. Again, there's a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
rain going on that side. I can
That's
only
fine.
kind of half hear things.
Right.
The cameos,
Yeah.
more I think about it post movie, are all extremely smart. And like who actually got brought back, for the reasons why they were brought back, all of the above. I asked this question to Lily, but now I get to pose it to you. When did you know that was Chris Evans before he took the hood off? Because
No.
I also picked that up very quickly. And B, did you know that he was playing Johnny Storm and not Captain America?
No.
I feel like I'm the only person who got that like instantly. I was like, that's Johnny Storm. I know it for sure.
I think just the context. I mean, it was very cleverly done. If that's so cleverly, yeah. I'm at that level of exhaustion where I'm doubting my words. This will be fun. Because of the context of the MCU and the Void and the TVA, I just was like, oh, it must be a variant of Captain America. I didn't think about the fact that they could be bringing in, other people from the Fox universe. So I thought that was really, and it was a nice surprise. And I mean, not to go all the way to the end, but the little bit at the end where like you find out he actually did say that stuff. I thought that was brilliant. I thought
That was hilarious.
that made the movie. That ending made the movie 10 times funnier. And
Yeah,
kind of put in
That's
that-
really
because for
good.
10 years, Chris Evans couldn't say anything bad while he was playing
Right,
Captain America.
right.
And now he could just put it in there.
Well,
And I was like,
just he's like trying to like
Fuck yeah.
go on, and you don't say, all that stuff.
it's so good.
And it
It's
also
so
makes
good.
him less of a dick of killing, indirectly Johnny, where it's like he kind of, I mean, obviously he did, but it's like he also did say all that stuff too. But he very morbidly flexible person Deadpool is anyway, especially
It
with good
is, yeah.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I also liked how they brought back some of the villains of X-Men as well. Brought back the original actors.
They basically brought back almost everyone. Like I think
Right.
there were just a few exceptions, but like I even checked afterwards when I was writing my review for Couch Soup, which you can read by the way, on couch soup, because I
Feels
wrote
like
a
you're breaking the
review.
fourth wall all of a sudden by looking
Yeah,
for the
you got it.
balance.
And uh, I think there was maybe one actor who didn't come back to play his role, so they just got someone to stand in, and everyone else came back from the X-Men movies to reprise their roles, even if it was just like standing in the background, and that's it. I mean, to my surprise, because I really thought that was a different actor, Kelly, who plays from X2,
Yes.
the
Hold on.
mm,
Oh no, I
I
had it.
got
I
nothing.
just had it. I just had it.
lady.
Lady Deathstrike.
Yes, yeah,
Deathstrike.
yes,
Is
yes,
it?
yeah. She, it was her, but I couldn't recognize her. Even on the third watching, I was like, "Is that Kelly who?" Yes, it
Hmm.
is. It is.
Uh,
It was her.
Ian said they didn't get Olivia Munn back as Psylocke, and I think that that's fair because
True.
considering
I mean, she was in
around
the later movies.
well, and also she had cancer, like probably around the time that they were filming this, so I think that she gets
Yeah,
a
but
pass.
also they didn't get anyone from the the reboots. What is it? The Days
The
of Future
the
Past and the First Class, and so why
Yeah.
bring back Olivia Moon? I don't know.
Right.
Ian,
Right.
what
So
are you
yeah,
talking about?
the actor for Juggernaut, different actor for Juggernaut, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you guys think about Blade and Elektra and Gambit?
So I don't I'm a very I react when watching movies, but I'm very good about not talking in films because I have a whole thing about uh, courtesy in movie theaters, and you should be silent unless you are actively reacting to the movie. Um, I I actually said "holy shit" when Jennifer Gardner came on
Really?
screen. I went, "Oh holy shit!" like out loud, and I don't tend to react audibly to things when I'm in the theater like that. I will jump, and I will cry, and I will obviously laugh, but like I don't tend to like I won't say anything, but like that came out of me
Yeah.
completely because I really was not expecting it. But it made me very happy.
No one was, because
I
I
was
think that's the brilliance of these cameos, that they literally came out of nowhere. Like the fact that Chris Evans, Jennifer Garner, freaking Wesley Snipes, or Channing Tatum didn't leak at all is magic. Honestly, at this day and age where Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were trying to, well, Andrew tried to hide the fact that he's back, but Toby was
really
like
shocked.
going out and just said, "Yeah, I'm back."
I know. I
And
know.
no
I
one
know.
believes him.
Andrew was off giving like an Emmy-winning performance of like I don't know what you're talking about, and so he's like,
He's like, I might be shooting a movie here. I don't know, guys.
I don't know what's happening. So
Katie,
that
oh, sorry.
is brilliant. That is just brilliant. I was literally when Chris Evans showed up, he had the same, because I watched it in Hungarian first, and he had the same voice actor, and it still didn't click until he took the cloak off. I was like, fucking hell! In the cinema, like, what the fuck?
I think what happened for me, just if I can go play by play, I went, oh, I think that's Chris Evans's voice, and then they did like a close up on his arm, and I went, I think that's a Fantastic Four suit, and then they took the hood off, and I went, that's Johnny Storm hair, that's not Captain America hair. So I was like, I know what's up, and I was saying, because I was saying to Lily last week after we finished our review, because we did a little catch up. Sorry. Where we just talked a little bit about a couple of things, and those Fantastic Four movies, I have them. They feel very vivid in my memory, despite the fact I don't remember watching them that much. And as I spoke to Louis, my younger brother Louis, he pointed out that it was probably because he was watching them a lot, and I kind of was aware of him watching them all the time. So they have left an impression on my brain, like in that kind of very core memory space, even if I don't have like specific memories of watching them. But those actors playing those characters are very in there. So it was not it was a very quick leap for me to get to that's Johnny Storm. Which
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. The association, you kind of had it all your life. You've been around that. You've been exposed to it.
yeah.
I felt that way about Blade when Wesley just walked in. I had the kind of same thing, like, holy shit, they brought him. I was just given like his history with Ryan and his history with everything. It was just really cool to see him come back. And
Nobody
That's a
else will ever
miracle.
play Blade.
yeah,
But
I know
that's a
that.
miracle that Wesley Snipes came back.
I
It
love
really
that. It's
is.
like I'm the only Blade. There'll never be another one. And that joke works on two levels because it's like because of the new Blades in like development hell, kind of
Hmm.
like
Yep.
suck a little bit. You know, and also, or it's like, oh well, you are going to be replaced. So it's like it was such a clever like non-verbal. It's like you can interpret this however you want to,
Hmm.
and it ages better that way too. I wish I didn't know that Laura, what's her name? Daphne Keane was coming back to play Laura. I think they announced it in a trailer the week before.
Apparently, they revealed it because Daphne was like, "I want to come to the premiere,"
Yeah,
and
I would.
Feige was like, "Okay, fine, we
To
can
me,
reveal it."
that would have been like a really moving thing to see if I hadn't known, but I was expecting it.
That's why I don't watch trailers, so I actually didn't know that she's coming
Honestly,
back.
one of my disappointments, at least with myself, was that I saw the trailer too many times. But which well, obviously, I wasn't going out of my way to try and watch these trailers. It's just that they kept playing them before other movies I went to see, so I'd seen the
Yeah,
trailer a lot, and I felt like that had kind of set me up almost too much for like expectations wise when it came to what the movie was going to be, which is why I do need to see it again because like I think with movies like this, if you have expectations going in, it's very hard to not have that color your at least your first watch. Your second watch tends to be a better litmus test of how you actually feel about the movie because it's like you already know what's going to happen, so you can react to things as they are as opposed to what you think is going to happen. And I haven't given myself that opportunity just yet, but I will. Whether or not I do that in cinema is a different question.
you don't
Haven't
think you'll go
decided
back?
yet. I don't know yet.
Well,
I mean, I'm unemployed now. I
well,
left my
yeah.
job today, but very exciting. Yeah. But yeah, that was. I don't know what point I was summing up there, so I'm just going to leave it open for other people to start talking now.
Yeah, I only saw the previews. I guess it was previews. I never saw a full trailer of Deadpool 3. But you know, they were playing the little promos were playing a bunch before every movie that's been out recently. So that was my, I guess, exposure to it. And then the Daphne Keane thing, I never saw the trailer with her in it. I just saw someone post, it was like IGN posted a picture of her, like, she's back. I'm like, oh, I just like let people like choose, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't even follow IGN on Facebook. It just is like recommended. I'm like, thank you, algorithm. Thank you for
Mm.
ruining it for me. Um, so yeah, yeah, I guess to sum it up for me, I really enjoyed it. I will definitely watch this again. I'd probably, if it was cheap, I'd probably buy the Blu-ray and see like behind the. I'd like to see like bloopers and behind the scenes, kind of like with No Way Home if they ever release like full. I think they released the behind the scenes and that was very interesting.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was baiting with nostalgia, which I like too.
No,
No,
not at
I
all.
think that's very true. I think the nostalgia that they did go for was extremely earned and was I mean the way that they've been describing it as like a proper love letter to their
It
origins.
was.
And
Yeah.
I think that comes across very very vividly.
Yeah.
Yes. Lily, I did cry. I cried twice, but one of
Oh,
the
tell
times, like,
me.
well, the one time, which I'm surprised you didn't mention, was the Green Day song at the very end where they're doing the whole like showing of
Oh,
Oh
the
yeah, that was
start.
lovely. Yeah.
he was young, and that made me. It was like it. I talked to my friend Joe after, I'm like, it kind of felt like our childhood was like wrapping up, especially with No Way Home, and now this. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's done, and that I got teary about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fair. That's fair.
yeah,
What was the
a
other time?
lovely kind of montage of those moments and those years. So.
What was the
When you
other
said
time?
you'd cried two times.
Oh, sorry. I just completely spaced out. That was my brain be like, and I'm done talking. Um, the other time, what was the other time? Oh, that was last night. It was the moment when they're holding hands, Deadpool and Wolverine,
Yeah,
and there's
same.
that moment when I don't think they ever show the moment. It's almost like it's implied that it was said, or it's like he's communicating with Deadpool. It was like this is the first time I've been proud to wear the costume, to wear the suit, and just Hugh Jackman because he's such a good actor. That made me emotional.
Yeah.
It's like a 5 second thing.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looks
yeah.
I think he does say it. It sounds familiar.
He says it, yeah.
yeah, he never says it like in context of like an actual scene. It's like a weird like broken up thing, but that just hit me, and it was lovely to see that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to give a
Yeah.
shout out to Matthew McFadden because I already knew he was an extremely funny comedic actor, but this is a really excellent. Somebody said that I mean, neither of you have watched Succession, so this will be lost on both of you. But somebody was basically headcanon that this is an out of timeline Tom Wamsgan,
Green variant.
who's like a variant of Tom Wamsgan, who's become Paradox, which just is like, yeah, I thought that was extremely funny. Yeah, that's all.
He was very good.
I just wanted to mention him because I think he's great, and I watched. I've gotten really into this a channel on YouTube recently called Cinema Therapy because it's two of my favorite things. In that they're talking about films, but they're putting it through a therapeutic lens, and they're talking about like relationships and how things like you can, what things you get from movies and how this works in this way, and then how it doesn't work, in real life and all this sort of stuff. And they did one on Pride and Prejudice that I watched last night, and so I was sitting there like, this man is a very good actor. He's
I
very
forgot.
good.
Of course, that's why he looks so. Yes, yeah, yeah.
He's Mr. Darcy.
I didn't even put that together. Of course, yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you, thank you. That's where it was. Yeah, he's terrific. It was a nuanced, it was a nice difference of a nuanced antagonist in an MCU movie. He didn't feel completely one note.
No, no, no. He was
And he
good.
felt like a person. He felt very corporate. He felt like, but he had a personality. He had like drives, and I really appreciate that. Especially seeing it the second time. So yeah, no, he was great. He was really
Yeah,
great.
he was really good.
Other cameos I just remembered, by the way. Blake Lively plays Lady Deadpool.
Lady Paul,
Why
yeah.
are they keeping that one so much more stum than like every other cameo? Because every article I've seen about like Lady Deadpool, they've gone Lady Deadpool talks it reveals her identity, and I'm like, so why are you telling us that like everybody else is in this movie, but like you're being really, really like secretive about the fact that that's clearly Blake Lively?
I think what it was because people thought it was Taylor Swift for a while, and
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
just
Yeah.
writing off the
I suppose
success
that
of
makes
like, is
sense.
it Taylor Swift? You have to click to find out. I think it's that.
Yeah.
I did
There was
have
that
to check
night.
the credits because I was like, they didn't take her mask off at any point, so that was Blake Lively, right? And I was like, there she
Yeah,
is.
It
Yeah,
was.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
And there's that nice moment where I think Nice Pool is like, and she just had a baby, and you came into, and, which is I think Blake Lively just had a baby, which also I believe their some of their kids voiced the kid pool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
And
so
two of the
cute.
boys are in that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Two of them
yeah.
are in
And
there.
then Matthew McConaughey
Kana is the
he's
cowboy
the
pool.
Is
cowboy
it?
pool.
Yeah.
And then I think
All of
is it
the
the
names
floating.
went so fast at the end, I couldn't see it. Like I was only looking for Blake Lively, and I was like, I don't know where I'm looking. Fuck.
No, no, I know it just goes by. And then I think the floating skull pool
That's
was
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Of course it is. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion turn up as a random character?
right, right.
That's very on brand for him. No, that's
Yeah.
really fun. I didn't. Yes, Welsh Pool was one of the Wrexham players. I did know about that. I saw that one on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Mm.
I've seen Welcome to Wrexham is a really good show, by the way. If anybody is curious about watching it, I've seen like a couple of episodes just because my mum was watching it. Like, I don't care about football in any way, shape, or form, but the way that they put it together and they show like the players and what like the football stadium and the team mean to the community around it, and like showcasing people within the community and all that sort of stuff. It's just very well done. And if you're at all curious about what Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are up to together, that one's definitely worth a watch. Speaking of, Rob McElhenney was apparently had a cameo that got cut from the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What was the?
I don't know exactly, but like I saw him posting, being like, "They wouldn't cut my cameo, right?"
No. Oof.
Nah, I'm sure they're fine. Did I have anything else to say? Oh, Emma Corrin did a very like as a villain. Just that they were just extremely fun and campy.
Yeah.
The fingers freaked me
That
out
was
every
deserved.
single time. They're just like that little bit too long, even when they're
Yeah.
not in somebody's head.
I know. Yeah.
I'm
The
like,
nails.
oh
It's the
no,
nails.
yeah, it's just like it's that level of like it's proper uncanny valley, which is done exceptionally well, and I just like the effect of the like them trailing all over the weird parts and it's just it's hot. It's just like at that really excellent level of awful.
So I wonder what character. So they were playing Charles Xavier's sister, but I wonder
Yes.
what with what that wasn't. No, that wouldn't. Never mind. I'm going on a whole like thing of like I wonder what like variant that would be from, like what universe. Not one that we've seen probably.
No,
Probably not. I think that would
no,
be too
The first class one with that'd be kind of fun.
no, no, no,
Um,
no.
but no, I agree. They played a really layered person. And it again, I was kind of bummed that that character kind of got designated of like the world ending, like here we go, like at the end, which
Mm,
even though it does make sense given what that person's like gone through and that
mm,
arc. It did become like that whole like quota of the giant beam in the sky type of thing,
mm.
a little bit. Um, but I think, I mean, they played it so well, and I think the rest of the story contextually made sense where it kind of justified it more so, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd
I
say
don't agree. Like,
say more on that.
how else would you get rid of one of the most powerful mutants if not fucking blowing them up? Like,
I, yeah, I
you know,
just, the whole like every single time the universe is about to end, and it just, because we had that in No Way Home as well, like the multiverse like falling apart, and I don't know, I think it could have been more contained, like smaller scale, and still gotten the thing across. Like you
but
could just, I don't know, I'm just
I, I
spitballing.
I kind of get the vibe that you're going for, but I just don't think it would have worked within this
it wouldn't work.
movie, especially as the whole kind of predication of the joke of like we're done, the multiverse thing. It's too big. We've got to put it away.
The issue I think for me is that it's not being put away.
No, it's true.
And that's the problem. Like, if this was the last one of the multiverse, then that would be fine. I'd be like, oh, cool. Like that's a nice bow on top. But it's not ending.
Mm.
Uh, and that's my issues with it.
I did see
So
an interesting think piece, opinion article. I didn't read it, but I saw it was like a tweet summing up the whole thing. I passed it, briefly, which basically was suggesting that like in order to really make this whole multiverse thing work, they should, instead of trying to bring everything together, they should have start allowing all of these things that that they've got now to exist separately from each other.
yeah, yes,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the Fantastic Four stuff that they're putting together now should just exist in its own universe and know that we could connect it to another universe, but we don't. It just is in another universe. We don't have to think about how this story is going to affect the entire world around it because the entire world around it doesn't have the Avengers in it, right? That kind of a thing. And I thought that that was a really good point, but that also starts asking questions of what they have planned for, from here on out, which we still don't really have a sense of. In
Yep.
a wider context, just generally speaking, when it comes to the MCU, like I don't. I'm assuming that they have a plan, but like we don't know what that plan is at this point in time.
The,
As we
the, the,
didn't know back when it started
And
either.
it's true, but like back when it started, we didn't have any expectations either.
right, and it's been
Yeah,
nearly
throw
what?
them out. Why would you have expectations?
But
Just
because we can't, I
fuck
mean, you
them out.
can't, not have expectations because it comes with experience, right? It's like it's just like you can't go back to ignorance from this point. You can be like, okay, I'm open to things being entirely new and whatever they have planning, coming forward. But you can't erase the past 15 years out, out of the back of your mind. It just is that. I mean, that's how life works. You can be like,
Yeah.
um, every relationship you go into with any person ever has the baggage of every other relationship that you've had before it. So coming into this whole thing, we already know how they've done it well before. So the question kind of inherently and organically just becomes, well, what are they going to do now? And you can't ask nerds to not
Yeah.
do that. You know what I mean? It's
I
really,
also
it's basically not within their capacity.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you,
No,
Katie. I
no,
was
no.
just going
That's
to say,
kind of my done point.
to your point, I also think that the MCU model has been modeled, so many times by,
Other people.
attempted by DC, and also it's become a parody, like with The Boys. Like
Hmm.
it's a known entity. It's become a very mainstream, not just the movies, but the idea of what they do has become mainstream. And so I think that is also working against them as well, in a lot of ways, where it's like we know what to expect. It's a MCU thing. It's MCU movie. Here's, we're gonna have you be aware of like 5 movies up until 2028 or 2030 at this point. Um, and so I think that does breed expectation, also breeds a feeling of what's this leading to, and what's the ending point, I think, for some people, because there is that kind of weariness that's starting to build.
Yeah.
With my general friends and like the Reddit subreddits I hang out on, it's like, okay, like this is great, but like, is there some sort of culmination or does it bridge off? But if it keeps going, trying to make the scales and the stakes higher, what does it end up heading
Mm.
to? Um, One thing I want to say really quickly, and I'll zip up for a bit. What I liked about Deadpool, I kind of articulated last night to my friend, is it feels like The Boys, but with heart, and it's not mean-spirited. Uh, and that's kind of how I interpret Deadpool. I know it's gonna be divisive, but
No, I'm looking
yeah,
at Lily because I would like her to respond to that in a.
yeah, yeah. No, I know. I'm not a fan of The Boys much anymore. But I with the same level of violence, the same level of like sardonic nature, but there's a lot of heart and there's a lot of kindness still within Deadpool. Whereas a lot of that's to me very lacking or less so than the first seasons of The Boys, personally. I'm gonna mute myself for a while.
No, I want her to collect herself, and then I want her to respond in a mature and calm manner. She's thinking about it.
Oh boy.
Nah, I can't do it. So I'm gonna just pivot and say I have two gripes with this movie, and
Okay.
they are big ones. I do not need Henry Cavill to be Wolverine, so fuck off. That was like
That
a
was funny.
uh, I was like, "Huh? No, don't even imply it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm not good. I'm not watching Wolverine if they bring him in.
I mean, that was just a joke, right? That
I
really
know,
was
but I'm
just
like, I'm salty, okay? And I was not happy with that. The joke about like, saving him from the DCU is funny though. I like that joke.
I kind of thought that was about The Witcher. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think so when The Witcher has nothing to do with superheroes
No,
and
but it
Marvel.
is about like he also got shafted. Well, did
Yeah.
he? That's a bigger question. That's not. Ignore
Let's
me.
not get
I'm
into
gonna
that.
stop talking about things.
Yeah. And my other gripe is, you get one of Korea's biggest boy bands in K-pop, Stray Kids, to not only do an interview with you, you are in their music video, Chuk Chuk Boom, and then they write a song for you, and it's not even in the fucking movie. Ryan fucking Reynolds, what the hell happened? Honestly, I was waiting for the song to hit because it's actually a really good song and they worked really hard on it for a very long time, for Deadpool and Wolverine specifically, and it's not even in the end credits. I mean, what happened there? It's on the official soundtrack
Okay,
list
that's
from
great.
it was there ever since they posted it. So it's not like they just suddenly announced it like, oh, by the way, Stray Kids like made like a song for Deadpool. No, it's there, but it's not in the movie.
That I remember when that kind of happened with Black Panther, the first one with Kendrick Lamar's album that he did with TDE, and he had so many songs that were contextual to the story and to T'Challa and Killmonger, and then I think they played 20 seconds of one of them.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I
it
mean,
was like
they
that was it, like
they
nothing.
yeah.
they did that a little
Yeah,
bit in Into the Spider-Verse as well. The best song on the album is like in the movie for like maybe 20 seconds, and it's played through Genki's headphones, which is Start a Riot, in case you were wondering. It's a
Yeah.
fucking banger, and you barely get any of it in the movie, and it's like, come on, why
Yeah,
would
but
you
at
deny
least you
me
get
this?
something, but you don't get anything from Stray Kids
Yeah,
that's
and their
that is
song.
bizarre, and I
It's
would be
very bizarre, and
curious
especially
about it.
when you look at the interviews that Ryan has been given, and he even says like you can't deny the cultural impact that Korea has on everything, and he that was very funny when he pointed out that he knew Bang Chan longer than Felix did, the two members from Stray Kids, and they've been friends for 10 years now, more than 10 years now. So I was a bit like dumbfounded, like me and Tom from Couch Soup, like we even messaged like, what? What happened? Like, why is the song not in there at all? Especially after like going in so heavily with the promotion, and I'm like, okay, that's very weird. So I don't know what happened there, but that's That's not okay, Ryan. What happened to
Maybe it
us?
was a studio thing too. Maybe it was out of his control, potentially.
Come on. Why?
No,
Like,
that,
what's the point?
yeah.
What's
Um,
the point?
yeah, I was just trying to see if I could find any information, and
Yeah, I was wondering if you.
well,
This,
it says that they almost had a cameo. So I wonder if they were meant to be in the
yeah,
movie playing the song, and it just didn't work for the whatever they were doing, and they couldn't get it to fit in the film the way that they wanted it to. Which is,
That
it happens.
that was one thing that I was actually gonna say is that my friend kind of had a little bit more of an issue with it, but it's a long movie. It's a long movie, like properly.
Do you know?
Um,
it's 2 hours.
It's like
is it
It's
usually
two
not
hours?
long.
it's yeah,
It's just 2 hours.
It's about 2
2
hours.
hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, something around that. Yeah, because I looked it up just beforehand because I had to park in a slightly shorter. That's the word I'm looking for. Parking spot than I would use, and I was like, I really hope that this isn't going to go badly for me. But yeah, no, honestly, and we all know I'm usually the first person to complain about pacing issues.
Mhm.
I didn't feel like
Nope.
I
it dragged for me at
no, me
any
Mm-hmm.
neither.
point.
No.
Um, uh, I think maybe there was like a montage or two that it went on like a smidgen too long. But
Please
I
don't.
find that, but like I don't think it was like actively too. I think maybe
No.
like shaving like a 30 seconds off like in like two places, and I would have been like, but that's really just like a taste thing more than anything else. Um, what am I thinking of? I don't know. It's and I think that is just the way that Ryan tells jokes as well, because the way that the movie tells jokes is the way that Ryan tells jokes, right? Like he's got a very specific cadence in which he will just keep telling jokes until you laugh at something.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious to me because again, I was saying this to Louis that a lot of that comes from like he's spoken before about how much anxiety he has like on a regular basis, and now he's treating all that sort of stuff, and him just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking is so obviously an anxiety response. Like I'm just going to fill this space with something, um, uh, and I think there are times where the movie in the visual gags as well as like some of the spoken gags, he almost goes on a touch too long, and I think to reach like peak potential, he needs to learn how to like if he goes, oh, I've cut it back this much, he should cut it back like three more lines and see
Mhm.
if that works for him. I just think that he would have some tighter jokes at times
Yeah.
if he did that more often. But I also think that is an arc that we've seen from the first movie as well, where there are spaces where like he's gotten tighter in lots and lots of different places. I want to bring up just the fact that the proposal was just used as a punchline for like, and I'm like,
Fourth wall.
correct. It's a perfect movie. It's absolutely flawless.
I love how
Um,
normal Deadpool was like, "Is that what the fuck you think I do?" Like, that's not it at all. It's like, "That's exactly what you do." Yeah. I agree. I thought the visual gags, some of them kind of were a bit. They could have been like edited a little bit down. I really like though how the verbal kind of the jokes and kind of a barrage of uh I guess dialogue that Deadpool has was justified. Where he's
mm,
like, Wolverine's like, "That's what you're doing, just avoiding every."
yeah.
It was
No,
contextual
it's
to
very
the.
true.
So I thought that was it. So it made me, especially the second viewing, was like, oh, it's a purposeful thing with this movie because I didn't remember him talking nearly that much
In the
to
other
that
two,
extent.
I thought the same.
Yeah. So I think so. It must have been purposeful.
Yeah, and I think it was, and I think the fact that I had that reaction was an intentional thing to bring out of an audience member. So I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? I guess actively criticizing. I'm not poo pooing the
Yeah,
whole thing. I'm just like, well, that was the response I had. Um,
yeah.
I feel like just last thing because unless you have anything else to say, either of you, I'm looking at you in this way, shape, or form. Gambit's accent confused the shit out of me. Which
was
I
so
wanted to
good.
I wanted to hear what you thought of it, Lily, because now you've actually heard the original.
So
Because
good.
I was sat there like that was 5 different accents as far as I
Yeah, I
could
know.
tell. I have been since informed that he's meant to be from New
New
Orleans,
Orleans.
so
Yeah.
it's a Cajun accent. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
hear it
yeah.
now. I do hear it, but it traveled from like about 3 different places, and
So
I was like,
I like
what?
it's very funny in Hungarian too,
Mm.
because we have this very strong accent
Hmm.
at some parts of Hungary, and they use that
Okay.
for him, and it was very funny. But my God, I nearly peed myself when I watched it in English. Now I was like, I was so yeah, I was the only one watching it, by the way.
Mm.
Like I was sitting in that huge cinema, and I was the only one in there, and I was so happy because I was almost on the floor laughing at that fucking accent. So it was brilliant. And honestly, Channing Tatum deserves a fucking Gambit movie at this point. I don't know why
He
he never
does.
got one.
I didn't know about this, so this was one of the things that I
Yeah.
went into because I had no context for this at all. I was like, "Why is Channing Tatum here as Gambit?" It wasn't until after I saw the movie I was like, "Oh, he was meant to play Gambit in a movie,
He
and
was
this
meant to
is like
pay for,
very much
but
wish fulfillment space." And I'm like,
he really
"Okay."
tried to get it done in
There
the last
was
decade or so. And it was always just a no, 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 no. Like he learned the card tricks
Mm.
for it and everything, and they just never used it, and they never. And that's when
I
the
think
whole like casting Taylor Kitsch as Gambit in X-Men Origins. No, well, which one was it? One of the Logan movies.
mm,
Taylor Kitsch played Gambit, and Channing Tatum was already like, I want to play Gambit. Like I want to do this, and they just didn't care.
the brief googling that I found said that the movie officially died with the Disney acquisition. If I think,
Yeah,
which is just a shame. And I feel like at this point that was, I mean, that was Deadpool test footage getting leaked onto the internet kind of levels of like, come on, that's your proof of concept. Give
yeah,
him the movie.
yep.
yeah. I really like those kind of moments. It's like maybe I was always here. Maybe I was born here because like he never had the movie.
That was so funny.
No. I always rate Channing Tatum. I think he's a good actor. He's so funny without
He's really
trying to
funny.
be funny.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, people compare him now to Glenn Powell, but I just think Channing Tatum, like, he's just with his comedy and everything. Yeah, I've heard that. He's
I
like
don't see
Glenn,
that comparison.
they say like he's like the new Glenn Powell, like with like his track and everything. I'm like, I think I've never seen Glenn Powell do anything like really, and maybe I'm wrong, and I don't mean
Glenn Powell is actually an incredibly funny comedic actor. He was in Scream Queens. I
he was
saw a clip of it on it just honestly hysterical. He's very good at that.
Yeah, no, there's something about Channing Tatum that it was just great to see him in that role, and yeah, he was just a great presence on screen. I was gonna say something else that you guys said, but I completely lost. Oh, the Cajun accent. I love that line. Where it's like, "Who's your dialect coach, sweetie? Come on." I thought it was so funny.
Because I
So
was
Yeah,
good.
listening to it and I was like, well, that sounded kind of Spanish, and then you've gone a bit French, and then
yeah,
like then there's a sort of like it's slightly American vernacular English like lexicon going on at times, and I'm like, what am I hearing? What am I listening to? But I mean, it was also, I mean, yeah, it was fantastic, and yeah, proof of concept. Give him the movie. I feel like it would be fun.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
even don't
definitely.
even connect it to anything. Just give him the movie you wanted to
Yeah.
make.
Oh, that would be so nice. Anyway, let's rate this movie.
Mm.
So out of 10, how would you rate Deadpool and Wolverine? Katie, let's go with you now.
I wish she had come to me first because I was just considering that thought. Um, I think purely on like response, like emotional response, because I don't think there's anything wrong that like aggressively wrong with the movie. It's not like I don't think it could have done anything to be improved upon that much to like make the score up any higher. But like just from where I am, 8.5. I think that's where I'm
Okay.
at. Yeah.
Okay. Brian?
I was gonna say like 7.8 or 8, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
10.
She did give it
Okay.
10 on the
Yeah.
couch. She,
It's a 10. It's a 10. I fucking loved it. It's my favorite Deadpool movie out of all three. And I love the second one, but this one was just like, that's how you do it. It's so good. I needed this much fun. I really needed it, so I'm thankful. But you know, next time if you ask someone to write a song for you, use it. I don't know. That's my final message.
It does seem strange not to put it at least in the credits.
Exactly.
Like
because
that.
that's what
That
I've
is
been
a
waiting.
bizarre.
When it didn't come on in the movie itself, I was like, I'm sure it's gonna be in the end credits. Like that's where it should be, right? And then nothing. Like, interesting. Why? Like I don't understand. But anyway, yeah, it's an easy time for me. I really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to find out why did Thor cry.
We do.
Yes.
I will say that footage was decidedly from Thor: The Dark World. The footage of him
No.
crying. No, it was. I saw a thing. It was in an interview I watched at some point. I really can't remember specifics of it. But like that footage was him. They superimposed Deadpool into where Loki was in that scene where Loki dies in his arms.
It can be
Was-
because Chris Hemsworth has two different eye colors, and that
Well, then
happens
they
in
probably
Infinity War.
well they probably just edited it in post. They
No,
probably gave him.
but it wasn't the setting from Dark World.
It was. I saw some footage. It was the same footage. I literally was watching a video on the Asgard family therapy before we came and sat down here. It's the same. It's the same scene of him like in that sort of desolate landscape holding Loki, but it's instead of Loki they put Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool there.
Then it's just stupid.
It was very much just I think a throwaway joke.
Yeah.
Then it's stupid. I don't like it anymore. Anyway, this was us talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. If you haven't seen the movie yet, then go and watch it. We now spoiled the entire thing. So it's now the time for you to go and watch Deadpool and Wolverine. And we're not going to be back. Are we going to be back next
We're not
week?
next week. We've got
No,
next week off.
we're not going to be next.
We're not here next week.
So, yes, but we're going to be back afterwards talking about Alien Romulus.
Romulus.
This is, it's going to be the death of me. I can already tell.
Probably
I'm
one
gonna
of our
die in that cinema.
funniest
Yeah.
text threads is you being like, "Why have they done this?" I'm like, "Because it's a horror movie, Lily."
Yeah.
Oh my. And I love Alien, but I'm like, mm-mm. So if I die, it was because of Alien Romulus.
You know
Just
why.
so you all know.
And then, I mean, we haven't talked about it specifically, but I feel like I would like if we could make our next one after that, the Umbrella Academy in the 4th season, because that comes out next week. So it'll probably be a couple of weeks after the show comes out. But I'd like to talk about it because it's the end, and those are my kids, and I'd like to talk about the ending.
We can talk.
I'm
about
doing
it,
this.
don't
I
worry.
felt like it needed to be seen on camera.
We can.
Whether or not we do that exactly the week after, or the week, like we do 2 weeks, is, you know, we'll figure it out from there. But like,
Yes.
I think I'd like to talk about it.
We will. Don't worry. Don't worry. And yeah, this was us. See you next time. Subscribe. Leave a like. Leave your thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. And be good. And watch movies.
Very good. There's
And cut
more
the check.
lightning happening outside, so I'm gonna have to go now anyway.
Yes.
Bye,
Cut the
everybody.
check. Cut the check.